Well, our next guest is a best-selling author who has published 9 works since 2019, plus raising 4 children and working on what has become sort of a farm life. Her soon-to-be released book is called The Perfect Rom-Com. We look forward to that novel being released coming up in February. We want to welcome Melissa Ferguson to the show. And Melissa, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I've been reading all about you. You have been writing a lot of books, in between, of course, raising kids, and I read you homeschool, you have a farm, you're doing it all.
Well, it has been great. I do have a tutor who comes to help me homeschool, so that has been a huge blessing.
Yes.
But yes, we have a lot of adventures on our farm.
And writing, has that always been a part of what you've wanted to do?
No, I was an extrovert, and the smallest idea I would ever have had would be to spend hours alone in isolation writing, but through a funny series of events, I ended up doing that while my husband was doing a construction job, and I ended up having about a year of isolated 12-hour-a-day writing time. And I spent that year writing, and turned out I fell in love with it, and that was about 10 years ago.
So it changed your life, changed your trajectory?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, then I got the fun years of rejections by literary agents plan, like about 8 years of that, and then I won a writing award and got my first agent, and then first book deal, and then the rest is history.
So yeah, usually that's one thing you hear from a lot of writers is you really have to have that thick skin because it takes a while. You got to keep trying.
Yes, daily rejection is a thing. I could look online right now and deal with criticism from reviews or something, but there's always the sweet reviews too. So
yep. Absolutely. We got to pay more attention to the sweet reviews.
Yeah.
Push the other ones aside.
Well, and really learn not to pay attention to any of it and just focus on, what you love, and you just got to stick through it because people's opinions can always be changing.
There you go. Very well said. Well, tell me a little bit about your newest book. I love that it's coming out just in time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Well, this is The Perfect Rom-Com, and I got to say this is like a sweet rom-com love letter to people who are book lovers. It's a twist on 2 Weeks Notice, and it's kind of a book lover's twist, and it really goes off of my first experience going to my first writers conference, where it was an insane experience. You go in as an aspiring writer and you have all your hopes and dreams to meet this one agent you flew across the country or drove across the country for, and you have 15 minutes to pitch to them. And you're really wound up, and they basically reject you immediately, kind of thing, and say, well, you got to cut your book in half, and you do, this, that, and the other. So anyways, it's a really humorous, intense experience, that 15-minute pitch session that I've been wanting to write about ever since. And that was the start of this book. This aspiring author, she has these dreams and ambitions to save her grandmother's ESL and refugee company that they've been, program that they've had for years that she works at. And so she writes this book, and then she tries to go to this writers conference to sell it. And it fails miserably, but the literary agent ends up taking her on as a ghostwriter for this really well-known, beloved rom-com author. So she's secretly a rom-com writer. He takes her on and says he'll take on her little project if she'll write secretly. But these ghost writing, these books end up becoming bestsellers, huge bestsellers, but it's secretly her, and she's still this goal to save the bridge, and so it's this literary agent and author twist on 2 Weeks Notice.
So how much of that is kind of your story?
Well, last year was my first book tour for the book. How to Plot a Payback was my last year's book. And so I took some experience from that was really interesting, going from kind of racing from bookstore to bookstore to event to event. And so I took a bit of that experience, just a bit of my, I guess my first book contract was in 2018. And so my experience in the publishing industry at this point, and book deals and the writing and ghostwriting and just all that experience came to play. But no, it definitely is extreme, funny, humorous things that happen in here.
Well, I'm excited to read it, and it's coming out in February.
Yeah, February 11th, and in the UK in March.
Oh, wonderful. And we'll be able to find it at our local bookstores?
Yeah, you can find it at Barnes & Noble in Johnson City. I love them, and they're great. You can find it at Books A Million, Sometimes Walmart, sometimes Sam's Club, Costco's, whatever. Not Costco here, Target's, but yeah.
Well, congratulations. Very exciting. Great to have you on the show. We do hope you'll come back and see us again. She's writing a lot, so I'm sure we'll have another book to talk about very soon. We'll give everybody some information. Of course, if you would like to learn more, you can always visit the website as well, melissaferguson.com. That book is also, of course, available on Amazon coming up in February.